Hi, this is Melanie with Red Clover Reader, and at Red Clover Reader, our mission is to connect independent authors with a wider audience and help parents find screen time options and books that they feel good about. Today we are interviewing and chatting with author Sheri Fink. How's it going tonight?
It's going great.
Great.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us. So Sheri, you have written and self-published a number of children's books.
Yes, I just had my 7th come out actually a week ago. Yes.
Wow, seven. So I know about, of course, the Little Gnome. We know that one. The Little Rose, the Little Firefly, Little Seahorse, the Little Seahorse. But that Exploring the Garden with Rose, with the Little Rose. But that's not 7 yet, is it?
Yeah, that's 5. And then I have Counting Sea Life with the Little Seahorse. And
Okay.
I co-wrote with my husband, Derek Taylor Kent. And this one's for the younger kids, just like Exploring the Garden is. And then most recently, like last week, The Little Unicorn.
All right, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool. So can you tell us a little bit about what got you into writing children's literature? How that journey started for you?
Sure. Well, I think it really started when I was a kid because it was something I had always dreamed of doing. And I just didn't know what the possibilities were. I didn't even meet an author until I was 30. So, I grew up in a little town in Virginia and I felt, I grew up in a small town, but I always had these great big dreams. And being a writer was one of them. So as I grew up and I went to college and got my master's degree and I climbed the corporate ladder and then I realized like all that extra work I'd been doing, it ended up being the ladder against the wrong wall. And I was having this soul searching where I was doing very well at my job and I was being very rewarded, but it wasn't something that was like my dream. But I didn't know what my dream was. I had lost touch with who I was as a kid, where I was always creating things and being very entrepreneurial and just, believing in magic. Mm-hmm. So during that time where I was doing the soul searching, I had a gift of adversity where I was being bullied by another woman in my office. And it was heartbreaking for me because I just didn't know how to handle it. And while I was struggling with those big feelings, I had this inspiration to write a story, and that ultimately ended up becoming The Little Rose, about a rose that grows up in a weed bed, and because she's different, thinks that she's a weed. So in this book, the little rose discovers that she's a beautiful rose no matter what anyone else says or thinks about it. And I was terrified to share that story, but I realized that my own fear was so less important than my passion for helping other people. And that's how The Little Rose came out. And when I finally had the courage to publish it, I had to act fast, because I knew that if I tried to go the traditional route and had to wait around a long time, I would chicken out. So I was like, what do you need to do to publish a children's book? I have no idea. I'll learn what I need to learn. And within 6 months, I published it. It became a #1 bestseller on Amazon in the first 2 weeks. And then it stayed at #1 for over 60 weeks. And it led me to believe maybe this is what I'm meant to do. And every day I wake up and I step forward in faith and full of fear, but do it anyway, and then something magical happens. So here I am today, getting to talk to you.
Yeah, that's great. So your choice to self-publish, that was really about just getting it out, getting the word out as quickly as possible.
Well, it was a number of things. I mean, one was that I didn't want to chicken out, so I needed speed. 2 is that I was very passionate about the message, and I didn't want it to get watered down. Because I had spoken to some traditionally published authors, and a lot of them had no say in what the cover looked like or what the characters' names were or even what the title was. And I thought, wow, I would like to have, even if there are mistakes, I'd like to have the creative integrity of my work. And then I'd always been very entrepreneurial. So even as a kid, like when I played Barbies with my sister, my Barbies were starting businesses. And my sister used to get so mad. But I choreographed a musical with my neighborhood friends and charged their parents admission to watch it in my backyard. Like, I was that kid. So I thought, I've always kind of been that girl. And in the corporate world, I made millions for other people, doing marketing and strategic partnerships. And I'd never done anything in the book world, but I thought, why not? Why not just give it a go? And when I was doing the research, I realized that it was easier now than it had ever been before. So I was excited about that because it was kind of like the little businesses I built as a kid, but now I do it for real.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's exciting. Well, I think a lot of authors have similar thoughts about self-publishing, and there are tons of people self-publish. So it's really great to connect with authors who are super passionate, who have really professional quality work and great illustrations. And that's something that I was hoping you could talk about too. Your relationship with your illustrator, how you found them, and because your illustrations are just, they're really charming and really cute.
Thank you. Well, my number one recommendation is to work with very professional people. Artists, there are so many artists out there who have such talent, but you need someone who's going to like hit the deadlines, who's going to be respectful of the business relationship. I think that's the thing that's most challenging for most authors that I talk with when they work with like a student or someone, it's their first book. And yes, everyone needs to start somewhere, but if you're running a business, it's really good to work with people who are already very professional. Because for me, like I have timelines, I have launch plans I need to hit, and I've been really blessed to work with great illustrators. Both of them that I've worked with have been referred to me by other people. And I have an interview with them. I talk to them about the energy I want the pictures to convey from the story, because each of my stories has like a point in it where the character questions what they're going through and how they're going to turn out. And in that moment, it could feel very hopeless if the art didn't carry that positive energy. So it's important to me that is conveyed through. And I think that's more than just scribbling on a page, that takes some energy that's infused into the artwork on the part of the artist. So, I think it's great to create a win-win and to really find someone that can get the energy that you want to embody into your book, so that when you hold it up at the end of the day, I didn't make any compromises on this. I'm 100% proud of it and delighted to share it with the world.
Oh, that's really great to hear, Sheri. So can you talk a little bit about, I know the Little Gnome kind of has a message, and you kind of conclude the book with like talking directly to the reader about like how they can learn a lesson from that. Do your other books have similar messages?
Yes. The Little Rose is all about being your authentic self, no matter what the world wants you to be. The Little Gnome is about looking for the good in every season and every situation. So it helps kids be more adaptable to change. The Little Seahorse, he's a bashful little guy, so he learns to be brave and speak up and ask for help in order to bring a gift home for his mom. The Little Firefly is a late bloomer, so she's the last one to glow, so she fakes it in hilarious ways. And when they find out, she learns what real friendship is about. So this is great for younger siblings who want to be like the older one, but can't yet. And then the Little Unicorn, the newest one, she loses her sparkle. And then she goes to find it in faraway places, only to discover it in the place that she least expects, which is inside of her. So this helps kids build inner confidence and then share love and kindness and friendship. And then in addition to those, I have some for the younger kids, 0 to 5. This is a STEM book that teaches counting 1 through 30 while introducing sea life. And it has a special surprise ending where after the toddler has learned to count to 30, they get their picture taken with all the sea life they just met. And that makes them fall in love with reading because they want to check out every book just to see if they're in it. And then this one is Exploring the Garden with the Little Rose. And it's an ABC book that teaches the upper and lowercase alphabet, as well as introduces garden vocabulary for the 0 to 5-year-olds. So really everything that I've done for the children's books is about social emotional learning. So as they're reading, they're discovering something about themselves and the way that they fit into the world. And it's a bigger vision than maybe they had had before, because I like to empower them.
Great. So 0 to 5 for your younger books. What about the Little Gnome and your books for older readers? What age range are those?
Ages 5 to 10.
5 to 10. Okay, great. Well, it's been really great chatting with you about your books and hearing a little bit about, what led you to write. Are you working on anything new right now?
I am. Actually, I just approved the final illustrations for my very first baby board book. And so
That's great.
this
That's really great.
will be nibble proof
Mhm.
and will be for ages 0 to 24 months. And it's a very sweet story about the little unicorn's friends. So she goes on a journey introducing you to all of her whimsical creature friends. And I'm pretty excited because it's got a Pegasus and a fairy and a mermaid and a dragon and the most whimsical creature of all, a baby.
Great, great. I was wondering if you have free time, what kind of things you do for hobbies?
Oh, I love to travel. I love having adventures. I like to create like once in a lifetime experiences, whether it's for me or for my husband or for our family or our fans. We just did a world premiere party for the Little Unicorn, where we had face painters and unicorn cupcakes and all kinds of magical things, including a bubble show, and 500 people showed up. There was
Wow.
a line an hour before the doors opened. It was amazing.
Wow.
Lots of dressed up as unicorns. I was a mermaidicorn, which means a mermaid unicorn, of course. And it was just so fun. And I love doing things like that. I also love to read. I love writing just for fun, journaling. I love watching movies and television that lifts me up. Let's see, what else? I love to dance. I love to eat my husband's gourmet cooking food. I don't like to actually cook, but I love to eat. And most of all, I just love connecting with people. You know, whether it's my nephew or my sister or my mom or my husband, I love lifting people up. It's really rewarding for me to see everyone's journey and to be inspired by them.
Nice, great. Well, it sounds like you're busy and having fun along the way.
Oh, you have to. What's the point if you don't?
Well, Sheri, before we conclude, can you leave us with some tips for young readers or parents? And it can either be about just tips in general, you know, life advice, or advice for developing readers.
Well, let's see. I would say for parents, if you're trying to encourage your kids to fall in love with reading, there's two major ways I know. Number one, they see you read. If they see you picking up books and having enjoyment when there's so many other options for your entertainment that you choose a book, they will become curious about these magical things that have your attention. Number two is when you're reading to them, make it seem like the funnest thing that you do all day. Like create new voices and read it with enthusiasm and passion and, you know, get them wanting you to turn the page. And I think that bonding time when you're reading with them is so much more than just education. Like that's your last chance of the day to connect with them before they go to bed. It creates that special, it's like almost like this special bubble of safety around them as they drift off into dreamland. So I think creating the time and space for that, even if it's just 5 minutes each night, is so precious. And they're only young for a short period of time. And I know it's annoying sometimes that they want to hear the same story like 8 times in a row, but they're only that age for such a short time. And they will always remember that you made that time with them and you made it feel special. So those are my 2 tips to have them fall in love with reading. And then in general, if you have a dream, whether it's to write a book, which most people tend to have that dream, or to do something else like with your family, have an adventure or change your career or whatever, go for it. Like save up the money, create an exit strategy from wherever you are to where you want to be, and just take an action every single day because time is ticking and it is not infinite. And the best example you can leave for your children or your family or whoever you're around is to be following that dream and pursuing it with passion and going after it no matter what. Now doing it in an intelligent, strategic way, but also being happy because it's no fun to be around someone who's always down or grumpy, you know, like, and it's our responsibility. Like I have fun everywhere I go because I take 100% responsibility for bringing the fun. So, so for what it's worth, bring the fun and create magic, whatever that is in your life, create it.
Well, thank you, Sheri. We're excited to share those tips with our readers and families. So I really appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Melanie with Red Clover Reader. We're a diverse and value-focused digital library for kids under 12. And tonight we've been talking with Sheri Fink. You can check out her Little Gnome story on our platform. and check out her other books as well. So thanks for joining us, Sheri, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great night. Thanks. Bye, Sheri.